Hello, my loves. Today, well, this week, we're working on percentages and mean. Today, we're going to convert fractions and decimals to percents. So here's our standard. I can understand place value and recognize that in a multi-digit number, a digit in one place represents 10 times as much as the place to its right, and 1/10 of the place to its left. So we've done this before where we know that 1/10 as much or 10 times as much. And we know, again, those powers of 10, right? 10 times 10 is 100, 100 times 10 is 1,000. And we've done this in order to multiply decimals or to divide decimals. And that's basically what we're working with here. Percent means parts out of 100. And look there, percent. So think about it this way. How many per 100? Now you know that century means 100 years. And there are how many cents in a dollar? 100, right? So cent means 100. Here's our objective for today. We can convert fractions and decimals to percents. How are fractions, decimals, and percents alike? So you need to think, how are they similar? We're going to write parts of a whole as words, decimals, fractions, and percents. And then we'll practice with IXL, and we will convert between percents, fractions, and decimals. Now, don't forget those 3 iReady grades this week. You have 2 teacher-assigned lessons, and then, of course, your 50 minutes. And if you want that perfect attendance, then you need to do 50 minutes of math and 50 minutes of reading. All right, so again, percent means parts out of 100. Now let's think about this. How many per 100? Now we have a 100 frame right here. And in this 100 frame, we've already been practicing to find fractions and to find decimals. So what we're going to do is convert that all the way down into percentages. So let's take a look. We know that this whole column represents 10. That means this column is going to be another 10. So we're at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So all of those columns, there should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, because 8 times 10 is 80. And then we've got 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86. So this shape has 100 sections, we know that, and 86 of them are shaded blue, which means we have 86 hundredths. Why is it hundredths? Because it's out of 100. That's why it's hundredths. And we write it as a decimal of 86. We say it together, 86, right? Let me undo that. And the last digit is in the hundredths place. So we say 86 hundredths. And we also say it here as a fraction, 86 out of 100, or 86 hundredths. And right here, this is important. 86 hundredths is the same as 86%, right? 86 hundredths is the same as 86%. I want you to take a look at this little guy right here. You see that percentage symbol? I'm going to write one here again. See that percentage symbol? I'm going to take this little guy right here, and I'm going to turn him into a 1. I'm going to take this little guy here. Oh, yeah, that's a 0. And I'm taking this little guy there, and that is a 0. Look at that. So what we have here, that percentage symbol represents 100. So it's a percent out of a whole. Now it doesn't mean exactly 100, because sometimes we could say 1,000%, right? Have you ever heard somebody say that? Like, oh, are you excited to be here? Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%, it just means part out of a whole, right? But what we're going to talk about is it's a percent out of 100. 100%. So when someone says 1,000%, they're kind of just letting you know that they're super excited, because 100% means a whole. If I wanted to cut this whole into thousands, then I could say, you know, more like 1,000. But right now we're talking about hundreds. Okay, boom. So now we're still thinking about how many per 100. Let's talk about how many hundredths do you see shaded here. Now remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? There's 10 in that column. And here's another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 9 columns completely shaded. What's 9 times 10? It's going to be 90, right? There's 90 shaded, but then we have some ones here. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. So altogether, there's 96. So how many hundredths do we have? We have 96 hundredths. How would we write that as a decimal? Well, remember, the last place that there's a digit, that's where we say the name. So we know that we're talking about hundredths, right? So that means our numbers have to go up to the hundredths place. And we know that there's 96 out of 100. So that means there's 96 hundredths. And easy enough to put it right here as a fraction, right? 96 out of, that means out of 100. And you can also write it like this, 96 out of 100. So how do we take that percent? Super simple. You just get rid of this and get rid of this. Actually, you know what? Let me go back. I'm going to show you. Okay. So how do I turn that into, a percent? Well, very simple. I take this little guy and I put him here. I take this little guy and I put him there. And I take this little guy and put him there. So my answer is 96%. It's that simple, guys. If it's 96 out of 100, it's 96%. If it's 12 out of 100, it's 12%. If it's 1 out of 100, it's 1%. That's it. So if you have a test, and in that test, there are 100 problems, and out of those 100 problems, you got 75 of those problems correct, which means you got 75 correct out of 100. You have a 75%, which is a C. That's how our grades work. Our grades work with percentages. It means how many out of 100. Oh. Come on. There we go. Okay. How many per 100? Well, we already know that this is going to be 10, right? So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40. Keep counting. Did you find it? How many? I got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. I've got 85 here. Is that what you got? So it's 85 hundredths. So what I want you to do is grab a piece of paper, grab a pencil. If you want to draw this, that's okay, but you don't have to. What I would like for you to do is I would like for you to write these down. because I want you to show that you can convert from words to decimals, and then to fractions, and then finally to percentages. So we were at 85 hundredths. All right, pause the video and let's see if you can fill out the other 3 missing parts. All right, did you get 85, 85, 85? That's all you had to do. What? Yeah, it's that simple. 85 hundredths, 85 out of 100, or 85%. Which, by the way, if it was your grade, it would be a B. Woot woot. Okay, next one. All right, perfect. On your piece of paper, I want you to try these 4 problems. Think how many out of 100. Count them, write them down on your piece of paper. Pause this video and let's see if your answers match mine. All right, I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. It's 55 hundredths, 55 hundredths, 55%. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81. 81 hundredths, 81 out of 100, or 81%. 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. 45 hundredths, 45 out of 100, or 45%. Ooh, this one, I'm not even going to count those because I know that there's 2 missing. I know this is a 100 frame, and I know 100 minus 2 is 98. There's no sense in counting 98. 98, 98, 98, done. Did you get those answers? It's that simple, guys. It really, truly is. It's that simple. Oh, let me get to IXL. Here we are. Okay, we're going to go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Keep going, keep going. And here we go. 2%. Do you see how I starred them for you? That way, when you go to IXL, they're starred and they're going to suggest, hey, you should probably practice these. So it says what percent is illustrated. We just did those together. Right now, we're going to convert between percents, fractions, and decimals. So keep that piece of paper with you. Now, the reason why I want you to have that piece of paper is I want you to be able to show your thinking. I want you to be able to show mom and dad what you've been working on. Plus, some of these problems require more than one simple step, and I want you to show that step. All right, let me grab my pencil here. And here we go. It says, how do you write 5/10 as a percentage? Now remember, a percentage means out of 100. But we don't have 100 here, do we? All I have to do is turn 5/10 into 100. So how do I turn that into 100? How do I go from 10 to 100? We multiply by 10, right? Because 10 times 10 is 100. And if I multiply my denominator, I have to multiply my numerator by the same, which means I have 50 out of 100. So 5/10 is equivalent to 51 hundredths, which means that my answer is going to be 50, and then I'm going to hold down my shift and press the number 5 to get that percentage. So it's 50% because 50 out of 100 is 50%. How do you write 30% as a decimal? Well, let's think about that. We've got 30% means, see this 100? It means 30 out of 100. It means 30 hundredths. And remember with decimals, tenths, hundredths. And I just said this number is 30. 30 what? Hundredths. I'm going to fit it. There, I get it. Okay. So that means the hundredths place is going to have my number, 30. 30 hundredths. But we know with decimals that you don't need to put those zeros. 30 hundredths is the same as 300 thousandths. We don't need those numbers. 30 hundredths is the same as 3 tenths, right? But when we're talking about fractions of, decimals and percentages, because we're talking about percentages, we need hundredths because a percent is the number out of 100. So let's keep this 100. If it says 30 out of 100, then my answer is going to be 30, right? The pattern looks like this. Whoop. The pattern looks like this: 30%, 30 hundredths, 30 out of 100, right? So let me get, I put a decimal in there. 0, there we go. Submit. Brilliant. Okay, get your paper and let's see what you can get here. How do you write 14 hundredths as a percent? We've got 14 hundredths. It's going to become, did you get it? 14%. Remember, this 100 just goes whoop, right over there. It becomes 14%. 1, 4, and then hold down that shift key and press that number 5. 14%. Okay, how do you write 38% as a fraction or a whole number? 38%, get my little guy here. 38% as a fraction or a whole number. Can I turn this into a whole number? I can't, because it's 38 little pieces out of one whole. It's not a whole number, so I'm not going to do that. So I have to write it as a fraction. 38% means 38 out of, there's my 1, 1. There's my 0, 0. It's 38 out of 100. 38, and right underneath the question mark, that's the slash, and then 100. Terrific. How do you write 84% as a decimal? Write it down on your piece of paper. On your piece of paper, write 84% equals, what's the decimal? 84 hundredths. And if you want, you can always add one more thing, even if they didn't ask you to do it, just because this is good practice for you to see how each one are equivalent. They're equivalent. They all mean the same thing. So how do we write it as a decimal? 0.84. Submit. Super simple. All right, how do you write 64 hundredths as a percentage? It becomes 64%. This is a pretty simple idea, right, guys? All right, let's jump to the next level. That's what we want. We want some challenging because you guys are so smart. How do you write 1/2 as a percentage? Remember, a percentage is out of 100. This is not 100. How do we turn 1/2 into 100? Well, 2 times 50 gets me 100. So 1 times 50 is 50. And you know what? This makes sense, guys. You don't have to do the math all the time. You can just think 1/2 of $1 is 50 cents, right? 1/2 of $1 is 50 cents. So 1/2 equals 50 out of 100. So if 1/2 is 50 out of 100, it's 50%, because 50 cents is 50% of a dollar. So how do we write with a percentage sign? 50%. Perfect. Clear? All right, how do we write 56 as a decimal? Well, we know that one's 0.56. That was an easy one, right? How do you write 75% as a fraction or a whole number? Well, we can't make a whole number of this because it's a fraction of a number. 75% is 0.75. Uh-oh. Oh, I put it as a decimal. Look at me. Did I rush through? Yes, I did. Don't make the mistake I made. Let's see. It said, how do you write it as a fraction? Did I write a fraction? No. Why not? Because I rushed. Why did you rush? Because I thought it was easy. Is it easy? Yeah, but you still got to think about it. That's how I talk to myself when I make my mistakes. So how do you write it as a fraction? Well, let's take a look. I'm so glad I made this mistake. I answered 75%, which is not a fraction. So let's think about it. Let me go back. Where's my question? Where's my question? Here it is. How do you write 75% as a fraction? Well, 75 out of 100. There's my fraction. 75 out of 100. So I should have written this, 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 and this. So that's a fraction, 75 out of 100. But take a look at this. Look what they said the answer is. Write it in simplest form. Now, they didn't tell me I had to do it in simplest form, did they? They just said it as a fraction. So I wonder if 75 hundredths would have worked. I wonder. But in any case, it says to write it as lowest form, as simplest form. How did they get this simplest form? Well, guys, you know, when we talk about money, I love talking about money when we're working with fractions and decimals and percents, because I easily think of a dollar, and then this right here is 75 cents. So in a dollar, I've got 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 4 quarters equals a dollar. Now for 75 cents, isn't it 3 quarters? 75 cents is 3 quarters. What do 3 quarters and 4 quarters have in common? They have a quarter in common, and a quarter is 25 cents. If I divide 75 divided by 25, I've got 3, because there's 3 quarters. And then 100 divided by 25 is 4 quarters. So that's how we got 3/4 as lowest terms. I hope I'm going to get another problem like this, and we'll see if they want lowest terms all the time. Okay, how do we write 28 hundredths as a percentage? It's 28%. Brilliant. How do we write 9/10 as a percentage? Remember, it's got to be out of 100, and 9/10 is not 100. Get your paper, get your pencil. Oh, Miss Allison. There we go. 9/10 is not 100. You can't just stick 100 on there. You can't do that. But you know what you can think about? 9/10. 9/10. 9/10 would be like having 9 out of 10 dimes, because tenths would be a dime, wouldn't it? 9 dimes. How much money would you have? If you had 9 dimes, you'd have 90 cents, which means you have 90% of a dollar. It's 90 Or you could think of it as, whoop, no, I need this, there we go. How do I get to 100? Times 10 times 10, it becomes 90. So that's our answer. Submit. Love it, love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited we got this problem. Okay, how do we write this as a percentage? Ooh, this is some challenging stuff. Okay, so do you remember when we were multiplying and dividing decimals, and when you multiply times 10, you have to move the decimal one time? And when you multiply by 100, you move the decimal 2 times, right? Now we're talking about percentages, which means it's out of 100. So we're going to move that decimal point 2 times. So think about this. If it was this, we know it would be 51%, right? And the reason is because that decimal moves over 1, 2. We're multiplying it by 100 because it's out of 100. The same thing's going to happen here, except we don't have 51 hundredths, we have 51 thousandths. So to find that percentage, we just move that decimal 2 times. Ready? 1, 2. Here's my new decimal, and it's going to be 5.1%. You think that might be it? I don't know. Let's find out if that's the right answer. 5.1%. You got it. Good going, Miss Allison. Okay, 17% as a decimal. Holler out the answer, please. I didn't hear a lot of hollers. Uh-oh, I didn't hear hollers. 17% is the same as 17 out of 100. Oh, now I can see it's a little bit easier to make that decimal. 17 out of 100, 17 hundredths. When I see it this way, it's easy for me to put it this way. So that's why I want you to have that paper and pencil. 0.17, submit. Oh, here we go. How do you write 100% as a fraction or a whole number? We've got 100%, which means 100 out of 100. That's what 100% is. Now we can write that whole number. It equals 1, right? You got 100%. That means you did the whole thing. How about 94% as a decimal? We've got 94 hundredths. Uh-oh. How about this one? Oh, I like this. 75.34%. And we need to turn it into a decimal. How do we turn that into a decimal? So remember, this percentage means it's this number out of 100. Remember, it's that number out of 100. So if we were to have one of those boxes, you know, the 100 frames, we'd have 75 all shaded in, 75 shaded in, but then we've got 34 hundredths. That means one of these boxes is going to be cut into little tiny pieces, and only 34 of those are going to be shaded in. Okay, so it's going to be 75 hundredths, so 75 of those boxes, and then one of those boxes is going to be cut into tiny little pieces, and only 34 is going to be there. So let's think about this. And if we're talking about out of 100, How many of these are shaded out of 100? We can't really say that there's 75 hundredths, hundredths, THS, and 34 thousandths, right? Because they're kind of like, how much do you have? Oh, 75 hundredths and 34 thousandths. No, you have to put them all together. So you either put them all as hundredths or all as thousandths. Can I turn this into hundredths? No, if you only have 34 cents, you don't have $34. But if you have $75, can't you turn that into pennies? You can. You can do that. So the rule is to move that decimal place. And we're going to move it 2 places to the left. So wait, let me show you. I'm going to just get something wrong here. Let's put a 5 in there. All right. So the reason why I did that is because when you get something wrong, you learn from it. So here's that correct answer. And here's the explanation. I'm so excited for it. It says a percent is 1 part out of 100, right? Okay, so we've been talking about that. Whoop. I need this more. And it says divide the number in front of the percent sign by 100, or simply move the decimal 2 places to the left. So just like we were talking about with that, no, get back there, with that 100 frame, and we had 75 hundredths and we had 34 thousandths, we had to turn these hundredths into thousandths. And we do that by moving that decimal place, because 75 hundredths equals, move it, 0.75 thousandths, right? That doesn't go there. That doesn't go there. So what did they do? They took that decimal and they moved it 1, 2. And there's your new decimal. Okay, I'm so glad that we came on this problem, because sometimes we forget that there will be challenges up there. How do we write 34 hundredths as a percentage? It's going to be 34%. How about 50 as a fraction or a whole number? So this is going to answer that question for us that I had. The question was, if we're talking about 50 out of 100, will they let me put this as my answer, or do I have to get it into lowest terms? If I get 5/10 and then lower it again, it's going to be 1/2. So here's my question. I'm going to find out, can I put 50 out of 100, or are they going to want it to be in lowest terms? I didn't have to put it in lowest terms. Perfect. That answered my question. How about 8/10 as a percentage? Is it out of 100? Nope, but it's got to be. So how do we turn 8/10 into 100ths? By multiplying by 10. So we have 80 out of 100ths. Our answer is 80%. Good work. Okay. Oh, one more and then we're ready to go. How do you write 1/5 as a percentage? 1/5. Is it out of 100? Nope, but we got to turn it into 100. How do you jump from 5 to 100? 5 times 20, right? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. That means this has to be by 20. So 20 out of 100, it'll be, what is it? 20%. Awesome. Okay. Let me clear my drawings. All right, my loves. So what you have here is an opportunity to practice converting between percents, fractions, and decimals. Go ahead and practice and get some points in there. And you can also do some more, and I start it for you. Come on, load, my friend. There we go. Come on. There we go. What percent is illustrated? So you can do some more of these that have those 100 frames. And then you could do some practice of this. And, challenge yourself. See how fast you can get up to 100%. And that's what I love about IXL is, let me go back to it. Look what your SMART score is out of, whoop, I lost it. There we go. Your SMART score out of 100. So we want 100%. And the more that you get correct, you get closer to 100. If you get one wrong, it pulls a couple of points down. Because just like if you get something wrong on a test, you're going to lose some points. But here, you get to do more problems till you get those points back up to 100%. 100% means everything is done correctly. I love, love, love that. All right, guys, get to practicing. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Love you.